I'm not in the bed with you, and you not in the bed with me. So you do what you do, and I do what I do. Everybody do what they do.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Roderic Martez, and today I have my mom with me. If you guys have been paying attention to my social media, I basically have been saying that I wanted to do a week long of videos that showcased my experience coming out, and I wanted to talk about how everybody around me in the different sectors of my life felt about it, including my mom, so we're here. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure you guys hit that big red subscribe button, like this video. When it's over, comment what you thought about it. Make sure you guys turn on the post notifications so you're notified every single time I post a video, and you won't miss any videos for this upcoming week. So, like I said earlier, my mom is going to be talking about like how she felt when I came out. So, if you could give them a little synopsis of how you found out, how you figured out the first inklings that I might not have been, let's not say normal because we don't want to perpetuate heteronormative behaviors, but how did you feel when you found out that I may not be the typical heterosexual?
Honestly, I probably considered it years ago, but I asked you and you said no.
Mm-hmm.
And
so why do you think that was?
I mean, clearly you weren't comfortable with it,
mm-hmm.
or maybe you just didn't know, or you didn't want me to know, or you were afraid of what I might say. And then the girl found the text messages, and I asked you again, and you said no, and I left it at that till you told me.
No, but I mean, we had conversations when I was 16 too.
Okay, you didn't say. You said that first. Did you say you weren't sure?
I think so. I tried to like lead you in.
Oh,
but I mean,
is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think I just wanted to know. I don't feel anyway.
I feel like in my head back then you were disappointed, so it made me not want to tell you anything.
Did I sound disappointed?
You did.
I could have been. I mean, I don't know if I was disappointed or if it was just something different.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like,
it's no thing. It was just probably a surprise that you may have admitted it or alluded to it.
So
I don't know, but that's why I always had those conversations, which I'm the type of person anyway that, certain things that don't affect me. But I've always told you that whatever you decided to do was not going to be a problem for me.
So I guess another question I have is, when you first found out, or when you first had any inkling that I was on the spectrum of being LGBTQ, did you worry about what you would have to say to your friends and your peers, your family members?
I don't give a fuck about a friend, a family member, or a peer. That's the last thing. I don't give a fuck. So, no.
Okay.
And you know this. So, I don't even know why you would ask that question, because I don't give one fuck. Not one fuck. And to be honest, the people in my family that matter to me follow my lead. So, I mean, if I was disappointed, then yeah, everybody would have some shit to say. But because I'm cool, they cool. So, we cool.
Yeah.
And the rest of them, I don't give a fuck, and they know that.
And now it's on camera,
and
so it's even.
But they already knew it, so yeah.
Okay. Let me think of where to go next, because
we don't give a fuck about that part.
Yeah, so that's over. Like, childhood part is over. So when I was 21 and I finally decided that I was going to, tell you that I was sure about this and all of that, like, were you surprised, or because you had already known, like...
Well, I didn't already know because you had girlfriends.
Yeah, but, like, after I told you, did that, like, strike up, like, your old feelings, or if you had any... old feelings?
Old feelings of surprise?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit because, you know, just as a parent in general, you envision your children the way you were raised, and, you know, I guess the idea of grandkids and, you know, a daughter-in-law, which I don't really care about a daughter-in-law, but...
I'm having kids.
Okay. But I'm saying, you know, like the traditional idea of, you know, marriage or whatever. And nothing is traditional at this point just because, you know, things are constantly changing. So, but it really doesn't really matter to me. So, I mean, it was just you admitting.
Yeah. Because, that, I mean, that took a lot for me.
Feeling comfortable enough to say what we may have suspected or what you'd had already, you know,
I think
put
for
out
me,
there.
It was telling you that just was like it for me. Like after that happened, I was just like, I don't care about anybody else.
Because you got that off your chest.
Yeah. So it was just kind of liberating because you didn't really say much. So I was like, oh, okay. So I literally like vividly recall the next day I just started calling people and was like, this is it. And I told and I told my mom about it last night. So that's what it is. And nobody.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I helped you with that. Or, well, not I helped you because I didn't do anything, but I'm glad that that helped you, that situation, that it didn't make you withdraw more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's great. Mm-hmm.
So we all know that our relationship is very, very open. I tell you just about everything. Did it ever concern you when I started telling you that I was sexually active with men? Did the whole like idea of STDs and just the dangers of that whole world that you never really got a chance to see or learn about because I don't think that you were around anybody who was part of the LGBT community. Mm-hmm. So did that scare you?
A bit. Well, I think I expressed those concerns.
When I was younger, but like now I'm like
well,
about
now
to move
you
out.
seem to be very well. So, I mean, we've discussed, you know, the type of person that you are, that I perceive you to be. And
How
so
do you perceive me?
I perceive you to be a thrill seeker.
Which may or may not be true.
Okay. And so that kind of worries me. But I don't even think that has anything to do with your sexuality. It's just that I think that you know, feel like you want to experience things. Probably, I'm a little more conservative, so that kind of throws me off a bit.
I definitely like to experience different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, that's a little concerning. I mean, it has nothing to do with you moving out. You went away to school, so that's not an issue for me. It's just, you know, I just would like to make sure that you're always careful. But you seem to be pretty careful. You seem to, you know, get checked regularly and stuff. So.
And that's a whole nother video because I want to make a video about that too because a lot of people are scared by the whole idea of getting checked, but it's honestly better to know.
But you know what? You know, and I have to go back to, you know, it has a lot to do with the environment that you grew up in. So you've always gone to the doctor, so it's not, what's scary? Go get that shit checked out.
So we can fix it if there's anything there.
Exactly.
So I've mentioned my dad on my channel a few times, and I kind of discussed like some of the issues that I had with him pertaining to just our relationship. When I was in the process of coming out, did you ever think about like what my dad would think? Was it ever like a concern for you?
No, didn't give a fuck. I pretty much knew what he was gonna think in my head, so it didn't matter.
So for
we're divorced, so
yeah.
Who cares?
So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, when I did come out to my dad last year, I did it in the prison. So, I went to go and see my dad, and I had this whole plan that I was going to tell him, and my mom decided to come along. So, did you have any, like, ideas of how that was going to go? Like...
No, because I was there, so I knew how it was going to go.
Tell them how it went.
I mean, it went well. First off, I was there. So, I was there for moral support, and which I'm always supportive of my children. So, somebody would get cut fucking with my kids when I'm there or after. And so that's why I was there. And so it went really well. I don't know how it would have gone had I not been present. I don't know. How do you think it would have gone? I mean, I'm sure that the dad probably would have had a few more things to say, but, it wouldn't have gone well if he didn't say the right thing. So, but
I don't think it would have went well if he didn't say the right things and you weren't there either.
But still, he might have got out of pocket.
Yeah.
More out of pocket than... Was he out of pocket? He wasn't really out of pocket.
I don't think so. He was talking about, I already knew. Well, if you already knew, why did you treat me the way that you did?
Right.
But
like I said again, it's how people are raised and the things that they go through. And he might be a closet. You never know. Shit. I don't know.
That's a whole big thing now. Like, people who are homophobic,
Is that a whole big thing? Like, That's like a lot of the reason why you got such an issue. Because you sitting there having fantasies about the shit and you don't know what to do with those feelings.
So you do realize now you just... Not you called a dad
no, I didn't, but I asked you that.
Yeah.
So, as a parent, you have to ask those kind of questions. As a concerned parent, I would imagine that you would try to research the situation and find out, what's going on.
Absolutely.
Have you thought about other family members' reaction to your coming out, and were you disappointed by anyone's reaction?
No, I think that everybody, congratulated me and said what they needed to say in a positive way because they knew that it was either going to be me or you to say something that was totally outrageous right back. So I think that they just sat down and ate their food at that point. Because, like I said, I came out on social media, so it wasn't really anything for them to say. If they said something negatively, they were going to have to say it publicly. So not only was I probably going to respond some type of way, my mom was going to see it, all of the 200 plus people who commented were going to see it and be notified. And I've seen what my fan base from YouTube right now has combated. So I just, I know it would have went down in the comments. So
yeah, it would have went down in the comments.
And at the reunion.
What the fuck you say?
Yeah. So I think that people really got it, that it wasn't really any of their business. Like I said, the people that really mattered were really my parents, my immediate family, my sister, my granny. That's really it.
So are you all good? You feel good? You wake up in the morning feeling good?
I do. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. I feel like I was hiding a part of who I was. Not only was I hiding that part of myself from the world, but I was hiding it from myself, because what I always tell you right now is that I'm able to explore and talk to people, and I never got to do that. Even when I had accepted the idea that I did like boys, I never really acted on it. I would do little stuff in secret, but I never would be able to just go out in the open and do whatever I wanted. So now I'm not even a shy person. I'm not a shy person. I'm not scared of anybody's opinions. I think that it was just admitting it to myself, making sure who I was okay with you, and now I can just do what I want. Because you've seen my Instagram. I have no problem saying what I have to say on social media, in person, at a conference. Quite frankly, when I came out, I was a national officer for Alpha Phi Alpha, so I literally came out on the hot seat everywhere. I did it on social media. I literally broke the internet in a local sense. So
how has that affected your standing in the Greek community?
I would say that it made it better.
Well, because I'm sure it's a lot of...
Yeah, what people fail to realize, and I said this in my other video, is that in every single Greek organization, I would say a large percentage of its leadership are members of the LGBT community, whether they want to admit it or not. Then you have about a third of its members, like general membership, that are members of the LGBT community. And, you know, some are out, some aren't, and that's totally their prerogative. But I think that our organizations perpetuate homophobia, and that's across the Divine Nine. I think that it takes people like me, people like my Sans, and then Javier, who, this is the cast for the video that we did. I'm gonna put it right up there. But it takes people like us to be open in our sexuality, to, you know, lead the way for people who aren't quite there yet.
I mean, I just as a, you know, a spectator, basically, I think it's got to be empowering to have a brother or bro or whatever you all call it, one another, who made it to such a high level in the organization, and then to declare himself, you know, a member of this community that's been ostracized.
And I think like even my straight brothers, or just members of different organizations, like a lot of them reached out to me talking about how brave I must have been to do that, knowing the reputation that people in this community, or the perception that people in this community have. Yeah, everybody was supportive. I think the only like negative thing that I heard about, because nobody ever said anything in my face, I heard that somebody said, I feel like he did this to gain popularity within the organization. But my sexuality has nothing to do with Alpha. I didn't join Alpha because I liked boys. I didn't join because I wanted to be around more men. I joined Alpha for brotherhood. As far as propelling myself upward in like the social realm, I was doing that already. I was already popular. I already was the it man on campus. I was in every room that I step in. I mean, not to sound cocky or anything, but if you don't think that you're the baddest in the room, then
leave.
Get out. And that's how I feel in any room that I go in, whether it's a fraternity, whether it's a job interview, whether it's anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm proud of you. That makes me proud that you are confident enough to be a leader. But, you know, as a parent, that's all you ever want, is for your children to lead the way.
So do you ever, because of, you know, because of how society can sometimes see people in the LGBT community, do you worry about my safety sometimes? Not necessarily my sexual safety, but just my safety when I go to these like pride events, or you ever worry?
Actually, I do, and I thought we have conversations about them. Don't I ask you, like, when you go out of town and stuff? I mean, you know, when you see things on TV, you know, it kind of makes you nervous. I think something just happened a couple weeks ago, and, you know, for a minute, you know, my imagination kind of, you know, ran. So I have to stop myself from thinking about stuff like that. But one thing that gives me a little comfort, and I don't know how this might sound to some people, but you're not
overly flamboyant.
Yeah, you're not, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but so you're not out here trying to be female and make people think that you're female when you're not, because a lot of things happen, you know, that you see in the news where, you know, these people are, what do you call them? I don't want to.
Transgender?
Well, not necessarily transgender, but, you know, still walking around, you know, with dresses and stuff.
Do you mean men that dress as women?
Yes.
Or men that are actually trying to transition into being a woman?
Well, I guess transitioning, but not quite there yet.
I would say that they're still a transgender
That's
woman.
transgender?
Yeah, they just
So what about the men who dress up like women and aren't doing anything to... Well, I guess like...
They would be doing
like
drag.
Bruce Jenner was... Okay, so anyway,
he just wasn't there.
No, well, when he was still married, he hadn't done anything. He was just taking the hormones.
I would still say...
Is that transgender too?
I may not be as educated as I should be, but in that sense, I would think that he was still a transgender woman. He just hadn't made it through his transition yet.
Well, he hadn't started the transition. He was still... Well, I mean...
Well, he knew internally what he was.
Right. Okay. So, sorry. Don't want to offend anybody, but my point is that it's not like you're going to meet somebody and, you know, they think that you're one thing and you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm not as concerned, but, I mean, it's still a concern.
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, you know, the girl, she concerns me too. So, I'm just a mother. And so I have to stop myself sometimes. And,
I was actually going to ask you about that. What do you think, do you think your level of support for me would have changed if I was more feminine, if I did want to wear dresses, or if I did want to, I mean, and let's be real, I mean, I will wear makeup now, but if that was like my everyday thing, do you feel like your level of support would have changed? No,
I don't think so. I think, though, that, you know, everything is a process. So, yeah, I probably would have been looking like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like you were in the video?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but, I mean, the point is that you're Roderic or whomever, you know, you might be.
Roderic Martez. Period.
No, I wasn't talking about Roderic Martez. I was talking about, like, if you had decided that you wanted to be female. You're still my child. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, everything takes a minute to get used to. I asked you when we had the discussion before and you actually came out, and where were we? In the bedroom? And I was sitting on the bed and just, I don't even think that I got up the next morning and, like, it was an issue.
Yeah.
Like, I got up the next morning and went on about my business.
I feel like, honestly, like, I had been preparing you for it anyway. Like,
by asking me all of those different questions.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, but I mean, if I was going to be upset about it, I would still be upset about it, I think. You know, I'm just not that person, though, too. So, but I mean, you know, you're my child. So if you can't come to me with a concern or whatever, then, like, who the fuck do you go to?
Exactly. Okay, so the video is pretty much over. So thank you so much, Mom, for doing this video and, you know, giving your perspective on things. The whole reason why I wanted to do this is because, like I said in my previous videos, I wanted to use this platform to inspire people. And I feel like me doing videos on the reason why I came out, how I came out, and then what people around me thought shows an example of a situation, even though it's my situation, but shows a situation to somebody who may not have done it yet. And hopefully from this will give them the courage to. I know everybody doesn't have the same circumstances as me. I know that everybody's parents won't be accepting, but what I want this video to do is give hope that everything will be okay eventually. You can make it through anything. Thankfully, I had people who were around me that supported me, but sometimes that's not the case. So I just want you to know that you're not alone. You do have people that support you like me. Like I always say, my DMs are always open if you want to talk. So make sure, if you're not following me on all of my social media, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and anything else you can think of at Roderic Martez. It'll be down there in the description box. And let me know what you guys thought about this video. So peace be unto you.